Hi, my name's Mary Kay DeJesus, and I'm here to tell you another story from my family. This one is about Amicalola Falls, and Amicalola Falls is in the mountains of Georgia. When we lived up there, we would go all the time. Armando and his sister always hiked there. They would go on a whim and just hike. So our grandson had been visiting at the time. He was probably 7, maybe 8 years old, and he wanted to go see the Amicalola Falls. And that's all he talked about, and the whole way there he kept saying, Grandpa, I am going to go see the falls. I can't wait to see these waterfalls. So to get to the falls, you have to walk up some steps, and then you're on the bridge that goes in front of the mountain where the falls are coming down. So he's looking around, and he looks at everything, and he said, Grandpa, where are the falls? I thought we were coming to the falls. Grandpa turned his body around and he said, look, water falls. And right away he goes, I hate you, Grandpa, and started laughing and gave him the biggest hug. So we still talk about that today. And he's a grown man with a family, and we still bring up waterfalls. So when something's very obvious, poor kid, he's the one that gets it first, all the time, doesn't matter. The other thing I want to talk to you about is being at the falls. It is a beautiful place, and it is in the mountains. It is gorgeous, especially in the fall, even in the spring. I've never been there in the winter, but Armando and my grandson kept walking, and they kept going up the mountain and looking at the different things, and I just couldn't do it. So I brought my sketchbook and I went looking for something to draw. And what I found was on the side of the mountain, there's this old rusty truck. It was old, dents and fender off, and weeds growing through the engine. So it had been there a long time, and you could tell where it was, where it had stopped or situated, that nobody was going to move it out unless they had a crane of some sort, and then I don't know where they would go to use the crane. So I decided to sit there and draw it. And as I'm drawing, I kept trying to think of a story. Something happened here. What is it? So I thought, all of a sudden I heard these voices, and it was Billy Bob and Bobby Joe, and they were in the truck, and they were just laughing and cutting up and having a good time. And as they're driving down this mountain, you could hear glass bottles hitting each other and dingling and jingling, and it was moonshine. They had a whole truck bed full of moonshine, and they were just coming down that mountainside. Now these two boys knew this mountain. They lived there all their life. They knew every secret road. They knew every point and turn and twist, and secret roads too. So they were driving fast. The reason they were driving fast is because behind them you could hear the siren, and they knew they could outrun those boys. They just knew it. But the boys in blue weren't going to give them that chance, and they kept speeding up, and the boys kept laughing and turning and twisting, and before long they knew they were coming to their secret road. They knew they could get away. But as soon as they turned that last little turn, their tire blew. Not just a flat, it blew. So it pushed them off the little road and onto the gravel and the stones. And they kind of spun out and got stuck right there. Well, the policeman came up to the car because they caught up to them, and that was the end of their run. Now, I don't know what happened after that. I don't know what happened to the boys. I don't know where the police went. I don't know if they took the things. I don't know what happened to the moonshine, although that worries me, what happened to the moonshine. But it was my story. It was over, and I walked away with a drawing. So we tell this story a lot. I still tell the story, and I still have the drawing of that old truck somewhere in this house. And it gives me, it's funny to think about it. It really is. But, you know, I always wondered what happened to the old truck. But apparently it's still there. Nobody's going to bring it down. So, but what I want to remind you again is stories are what makes the family special. All families have stories, and it's good to keep talking and passing them on and letting the younger kids know. They'll change them, and it's okay, because I know that the stories I heard from my mother, some have changed with me, but that's okay, because you're still passing down stories from, from other generations. It's fun. And I want you to remember, from the fullest part of my heart, I love you. My hugs are with you. I think of you all the time. So, without further ado, I will talk to you again soon with another 2 stories, 3 stories. You never know. I love you. Bye.